Well, can we step outside and talk? Don't grab the camera. Don't touch the camera. Don't touch the camera. Hey, you're being recorded. Hands off the camera.
Property, come on.
We're trying to get out.
What is wrong with you?
We can get out.
Can you look at what you're doing? Look at what your hands all over his stuff. Ow! That ain't yours.
Only onto a search for answers about a bad car deal ends in this. A car salesman in handcuffs after he assaulted our reporter and photographer on camera. Good Friday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Zach Lajwe. What you just heard and saw was a tussle between KPRC2 reporter Gage Goulding, photojournalist Oscar Chavez, and car dealership manager David Estrada. So how did we get here? Alicia Butler, a Houston area resident, was searching for a used car just before Thanksgiving. She found Strawberry Road Auto Sales, a used car dealership in Pasadena. Alicia found a car online, put down a down payment on that vehicle, but when she went to test drive it, well, this is when the problems began. Butler asked for her down payment back, but the woman at the dealership only handed her a receipt. Alicia reached out to our help desk. This is when Gage and Oscar went undercover to purchase a car. Oscar and Gage are in Studio A with us this morning to share more about this situation. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for coming in. First of all, so glad you're okay after seeing this video. It's quite alarming.
Yeah, absolutely. And Oscar, I mean, Oscar was the one that this guy was really aggressive towards. So these situations, you never know what's going to happen, and you kind of know how it is. But I'm really just happy Oscar's okay. Yeah. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I know for you, for even you, in situations previously, we have experienced things like this, but not quite to this extent. Talk to us about what went down, how we got to where what we saw.
Yeah, and you know, in the news, we film so much, but there's only so much time to put stuff on television. What you kind of don't see, but you see part of it is after we go through that car buying process, seeing how they're going to treat me for when I want to go on a test drive. That's when we, kind of reveal ourselves. Hey, I'm actually not interested in buying a car. I'm with the news, and we're actually investigating a certain case. And the salesman, really nice guy, his name's Kevin, was a really nice guy. He's like, hey, I don't really know anything about this. I have to go, let's have you talk to the manager. Oh, he's inside. I asked, and it's clear as day. You want me to come inside? Is that okay? Yeah, come on inside. We thought it was going to be a cordial conversation, and truthfully, in most of these instances, we're just told to, hey, no comment, please leave the property. And we do, and that's usually what you see in these stories, but it wasn't even that. It was an instant, kind of rash of aggression.
I mean, as soon as you walked in, he got up and went straight for the camera.
Yeah.
Actually, in the video, you kind of see, I thought he was walking around the desk to kind of shake my hand, but I didn't. Yeah, I guess I really didn't think that he was going for Oscar. Like in this right here, look, I'm not even blocking because I thought he was going for my hand, and he grabs the camera.
And so the gentleman that you were speaking to outside on camera, that was the salesman?
Yeah, that was the salesman.
This is the manager.
This is the manager. This is David Estrada right here.
So when police arrived, what was their reaction, and what charges is this Estrada character facing now?
So the most important thing in anything, film it, film it, film it, film it. Luckily, we in television have a lot of cameras, but what you saw there was cell phone video of what he was doing to Oscar. Film everything, because as soon as we showed police that video, it was pretty much a cut and dry situation. They're charging him with 2 counts of assault, 1 for each of us, because obviously it's on camera he assaulted Oscar, but whenever he hit me in my hand and the phone went flying through the air. So, but in these kind of situations, the camera gear is expensive. If there's damage to it, that could easily be upgraded to something different. So it's a misdemeanor, the highest case of a misdemeanor, but you could easily be looking at something much more severe, which in any instance you just don't need.
Yeah. Did either of you sustain any injuries?
My hand, when you see him, that he's literally walking me out, right, with guarding my camera, he does this jerking motion trying to take the camera from me. And of course, this is a big boy, so I mean, it wasn't easy to hold onto that camera. But he also did a twist motion, so my hand, and mind you, I have a full grip on the camera. It's a one hand, and he like twisted it. I told Gage, I'm like, I got to take the camera. I heard something crack, but
in your arm.
Yeah, in my hand. Yeah, and I mean, I know that I don't think anything's fractured because otherwise I wouldn't be able to move it at all. But definitely, I can't hold weight on it right now. I can't,
It's sore, it's stiff.
Oh yeah, there's a sharp pain if I try to hold something heavy.
Does this Estrada guy have a criminal history?
You know, from what I understand, from what we've been told, that he has had prior run-ins with law enforcement. That's something that we're actually looking to investigate. Let me say this. Whenever the police officers showed up, they weren't surprised to be at that location. Yeah. They've had prior dealings with him before in personal life, and it sounds like in professional life. But, you know, what we saw just from a scratch of the surface investigation is that there are a slew of complaints with the Better Business Bureau against him. So whether those will turn into civil suits or lawsuits with other customers, that's something that I'm actually trying to find out. I want to hear from other customers that have dealt with this establishment, Strawberry Road Auto Sales, to see if he's being sued. Because each of the instance that kind of kickstarted the story with Alicia Butler, you know, it's not what he did might be wrong, right? Allegedly, what he did could be wrong. It's not necessarily an arrestable offense. Right. It's a civil lawsuit that she would have to file in court. So it doesn't mean that he didn't do anything wrong and they can't haul him out in handcuffs like they did in our instance, but you know, there could be a lawsuit. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here, is to find those cases of people that were potentially had you know, wrongdoing against them.
Going into this though, were you aware of his history? Going into this situation, knowing what you could be dealing with?
We knew that he didn't have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and the Google reviews weren't the best. However, you know, you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt sometimes, because you know, you only hear that one bad complaint and not the 100 good ones. But it's in the back of your mind that these things could happen, but it's always still kind of a shock
when they do.
Yeah, it's way in the back of your mind, or how is this really going to play out? But you know, you just hope that it's never going to turn into something like that. Yeah. And he could have turned it in so many different ways. I mean, he could have, as soon as we walked in, asked us to leave.
Over there while we figure this out.
He could have turned it into a positive. He could have said, we know what, we stand behind our cars, we're going to help this lady, we're going to get her money back. I mean, he could have turned it in different ways.
Speaking of Alicia, what's the latest in her situation?
So actually, right before our story aired at 6 last night, she gave me a call and said, hey, I just got a call from the office manager at the auto sales store. They said they are going to overnight me a check for the full $1,500. However, I always want to see proof. So I said, as soon as you get that check, you give me a call. So I'm hoping that she gets it today. That would be amazing, right? Because that's the whole drama. We don't go into this for drama. We went in to get answers and help Alicia. And if that's what we wanted to get out of it. So if I get that call today that she has that check for $1,500, that will allow her to go to a reputable car dealer and, you know, get a set of wheels for her and her 3-year-old son. That's why we do.
Then there's also the whole, besides getting the check, the period of the check clearing.
That's true.
There's a couple of days for that check that looks.
There's a little process.
There's a whole scam to that, and other stories where it's like, oh, you get a check.
Yeah.
But 7 days later, the bank is like, oh, it didn't clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I trust you both will stay on top of this. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope your hand feels better, but I'm really glad you two are okay, considering what we saw in that tape.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Zach.
Zach.
Both. Absolutely. And once again, we found out about this story through our KPRC2 help desk. It's easy to contact us. Just head to help.clicktohouston.com. Give us as much information as you can about the problem you're dealing with, and a member of our help team will reach out to you as soon as they can.